Hello, this is Sergio Martinez from GJD3D, and in the last video that I made I showed you how we used a definition of Grasshopper to generate different size dress forms, mannequins. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you kind of give you a preview of the process involved in using the dress form to create like a dress, a simple dress shape. So since this is a surface now that we have in here in Rhino, we know that we can project all kinds of curves to this object, right? And that is the process that we're going to use to generate the curves that we need. So here in this model, we can take a look and see that I have done all of the curves to make the whole dress. They're the ones for the skirt that I just made in the previous section. Now, for example, I can continue and use network and start selecting these other pieces and generate those surfaces, and do the same thing on the bust, do the same thing around the neck, the little piece here in the center, and in the end we end up with all of these surfaces that will make up the dress. Now this in this model here we can see that all the surfaces have been made now. All of them fit all the way around the dress. I have to scale them a little bit here and fix some issues here on the sizing. But overall, this is the form that I was looking for. If I select the curves and click on hide right here and hide the form, we can see the dress that we're making is ready to go and is ready to start. If we're going to manufacture it, then all we had to do is unroll these surfaces with squish so we can get each panel that needs to be cut from the fabric to be sewn together. But also you might want to show this with color to a customer or to whoever is going to make decisions if they want to go ahead with the project. So I'm going to show you that in the next step. Here is the dress, and as I mentioned, we need to, in order to place the textures on this, for example, if I grab, let's say that I split this one into the front and back, and we can see that the seam is already here, so I'm going to go ahead and split it in the V direction, V, enter, and I'm going to split here and somewhere more or less at the same place over here, and there I have front and back, right? There we go. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select one of these parts. I'm going to select both first, and I'm going to shrink the surfaces. Then I'm going to pick this one, and from I'm going to go ahead and open. Let me just bring a window here into the screen. I want you to see something. See here in my computer, I have a texture, the green polka dots texture that I want to use. So this is just on the Windows Explorer. I'm going to go ahead and grab and drag and drop that onto the two pieces, and then I can get this window out of the way. Okay. And notice that the texture does go ahead and display, but it's not mapped properly. So the circles are okay here, but as they begin to expand out here, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. So for that, to fix that problem, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Properties, and we're going to go to Texture Mapping, and we're going to unwrap that piece. It's going to ask some options over here. We don't have to select anything there. We're just going to hit Enter. And notice that as soon as I do that, the polka dots become perfect. It's all even and nice, and there's no stretching on the polka dots. I'm going to do the same thing to the one on the back. I'm going to unwrap it, hit Enter. and there they look exactly the same. Now if you feel that the polka dots are too big or too small, you can work on that by working on the texture map. Like for example, I can go over back to one of these and then click over here on the UV editor. I can apply the texture to whatever size I want to use, either small or large, however I want to set this up. So I'm going to set it up maybe here to the grid size over there. And notice how it is unwrapping that texture so that it lays perfectly flat and unstretched on the dots. So if I select that and scale it, by the model becoming smaller within the texture, obviously the polka dots are going to get larger. If I click apply now, we can see that the polka dots in the front are much bigger than the ones in the back now. So these are things that you can do with UV mapping if you want to do that. And in my case here, I think it looks much better now that the polka dots are a little bit larger. So you can kind of now do the same thing to the other one. Go ahead and do the UV editing there and try to scale it to the same size than the other one. So you can go ahead and preview them. Yeah, they're about the same size now. So you click apply, and now we have changed the way that the polka dots are there. They're a little bit bigger. And then obviously now we have to proceed and do it to the other sections so that we get the same. So we try to get the polka dots to match the scale on each section, and then we end up with a very nice tiling dress. So now that we've gotten to this point, I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the shaded mode just so that I don't have so much consumption of memory. I'm going to get rid of these curves. There we go. And here's my nice little dress ready to go. If you look down here on the floor, notice that I already have this panel here. I already have it. I already have the pattern for it right there. That one, I already have the pattern right there. The triangle piece in the middle and the strap. I already have all the parts flattened down, ready for be cut from the fabric so that I can make my dress. And I'm going to show you how I did that with the skirts. All I'm going to do is select this one, for example, and then I'm going to type in the command line squish and then press enter. Once I do that, I'm going to tell it over here to preserve the boundary. That's kind of like the only thing that is important to me right now. Everything else is fine. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And Rhino will squish for a few seconds, and then we'll have that skirt panel unwrapped and ready for preparation for cutting from the fabric. So let me move that over there, and then I can do the back. Same thing, squish, same options, hit enter. And there is the part. And once we get to this point, we no longer need this. We can go ahead and hide that. If I go to my top view, here are my parts. Obviously, this does not have the overlap over here for sewing, for seaming it together over here. Also here to sew it together to the other parts, and the hem for making the edge down here. So obviously we have to add all that. That's all stuff that needs to be added manually by us personally. But I mean, that's very simple. It's just offsetting these edges by whatever amount of material you want. And from there, all you got to do is send it to your cutting setup, or to your printer to print the patterns, or to a laser cutter to cut the fabric, and you're ready to put this dress together.